Hi guys, I just made a video about solving equations and I lost it, so I guess I have to do it again. I hope I don't lose it again. So today we'll be talking about solving quadratic equations. There are 5 basic ways in which you can solve quadratic equations, or 5, you can use a calculator, but by hand, these are like the 4 basic ways you can use. So a quadratic equation is of form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So like the equation I have right here, x squared plus x minus 6. So a is 1, b is 1, c is minus 6. So we're going to solve using the factoring method. So what I usually do is multiply the coefficient, or multiply a times c, and in this question a times c is minus 6, and then I find the factors of minus 6, in which if you add them will give you plus 1, and you subtract will give you minus 6. So these are the factors of minus 6. So the right one is minus 2 and plus 3. So I have x squared plus 3x minus 2x minus 6. Always put in the factor in a way which will be easier for you to factor them. So I have x into x plus 3, and then I just write x plus 3 over here, and then look for what number do I have to multiply x plus 3 to give you minus 2x minus 6, and it's minus 2. So I have x plus 2 from x minus 2 from here, and x plus 3. So since this equation is equal to 0, I bring x2 to the other side, it gives me plus 2, and I bring x to the other 3 to the other side, and it gives me minus 3. So the second method is using the graph. So if you can't figure out the points in your head, like what I usually do, if the graph is complicated, I usually write on a table and values from with x from minus 3 to 3. But since I know the solution or the root of this equation is minus 3, I'm going to set up minus 5 and minus and 4 to 4. So when you put in minus 5 into this equation, it gives you 14, and then you substitute x. Whenever you say x, you put in whatever you have here and write it down, and then you draw your graph, and to find the solutions for this graph is wherever y is 0, or where the line crosses the x-axis, and it is at minus 3 and 2. So that's how you have the solution or the roots, which is the same as what we did in the first example. So the third way we can solve a quadratic equation is by using the quadratic formula, which I don't really need to explain how I derive or this formula is derived, but I can show you how to use it. So what you usually do is write out what A is, what B is, what C is, and then just plug in it here. I don't know if most exams require you to know this formula or you need a note card, but it's a handy formula to memorize because you don't know when you might need it. So just plug in the values for B and C and A, and you have this. I don't need to explain how to basic math, because I'm pretty sure we all know how to do it. And I get x minus 3 and x equals 2, and yeah. And then the last method, which is my worst method, is completing the squares. So you have an equation x squared plus x minus 6. So what you do is group x squared plus x together. So I have x squared plus x, and then don't write anything here. And just put equals 0. So how do I get this one for it? Before you even start solving using completing the square, you have to make sure the coefficient of a is 1. So if I have 10x squared plus whatever, I divide everything by 10 so I can get 1 all by itself. So since here is 1, we're all good, so we can go ahead. So how do I get this number here? So I take the coefficient of x, the xm, or b divide by 2. So I have 1/2, and then you square it, and then you square it. Since you're adding 1/4 here, you subtract it here too, so you're not changing anything in the equation, because you have 1/4 here minus 1/4, which gives you 0, and you just have your basic x squared plus x minus x squared plus x minus 6. So this is its perfect square. And how do I know this? If you expand this, would give you this. So how do you get to this point? Whatever you just divide the b over 2, and you write x plus b over 2 all squared. That's how I got this. And then I subtract 1/4 from minus 6, gives you 25 over 4. And then I bring the 25 over 4 over to the other side, and it becomes positive. I take the square root of both sides to get rid of the squared over here, and I have, whenever you take the square root of something, it's always plus or minus, so I have plus or minus 5/2. And then I bring 1/2 to the other side, so I have x equals minus 1/2 plus or minus 5 over 2. So I do the first part and it gives me 2, and the second part gives me minus 3, and I have the answer minus 3 and x equals 2. So reviewing back the 4 methods we did was factoring, graph, quadratic formula, and completing the square. If you have any question or any comments or anything you didn't understand, just let me know and I'll be happy to help you. Have a great evening. Thanks for watching. Bye.